Well, the Florida Gators lost to the LSU Tigers in a game where DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions, one for every star ranking he had.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. I was gonna say happy Saturday, but like this is the worst Saturday in a bit. I mean that was just man. That was brutal. I am Brandon Olsen, the host of Locked On Gators, lifelong Florida Gators fan. I write for swampsignal.substack.com if you want more Florida Gators written work. But, oh, man. Yeah, I guess we'll start with DJ Lagway, right? The Florida Gators lost to the LSU Tigers on the road 20-10. And honestly, before we even talk about that, can we acknowledge this for a second? DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions. One of them was returned for a touchdown. And you still lost by just 10. In Baton Rouge at night, which is in my opinion, top 2 atmosphere in college football. And I'm not saying that to be like a moral victory or anything, because I don't give a crap about those. I'm saying that to say that this feels like a must-champ team. Like that defense played lights out outside of that one big play to what's his name, Bo Sharp or something like that. Outside of that one big play, this defense played lights out, right? I think LSU had 5 3-and-outs in the game. Garrett Nussmeier completed basically 50% of his passes. They had a 51-yard rush at the end of the game that ended up, really helping their rushing stats. Outside of that, they had 24 carries for like 45 yards. This defense played lights out. Amazement said, yeah, Lagway, poor throws and decisions cost us tonight. Defense was outstanding. Even got us the ball back late and still turnover late. I'm speechless. Yeah, man, you're speechless. I got to come on here and talk about the crap for like 20 minutes. It was just brutal. It was just brutal that, DJ Lagway, awful performance. And Conform said y'all changed on Lagway that quick. I haven't changed on Lagway. You can go back to the entire summer where I was saying that I'm not comfortable with him not practicing, the entire spring where I was saying I'm not comfortable with him not practicing because he needs reps if he's ever going to get better. That same logic of he needs reps if he's ever going to get better is why I say I don't think you bench him. If you ever want him to develop, if you ever want to give him the chance to develop, you got to play him. That's it. Like he needs live reps if he's ever going to get better. And if he's ever going to get better, okay, Kinsey Brown said LSU is not actually good. Their offense has not been good, but their defense is insane. Like their defense is tremendous. And so, yeah, I think that when you talk about DJ Lagway, you have to acknowledge if you ever want him to get better, he needs reps, right? That's it. That's who he is. That's what he's been. He's tremendously physically talented. He's got a fantastic arm, but he needs reps. And again, you can go back to last year during the season when we had all the comments talking about how I was being a downer and how I hated DJ Lagway because I said that he doesn't play sustainable football, that the offense isn't sustainable with him. It's not. It's simply not. It's not sustainable with him. Lagway threw the ball 49 times. So yeah, it's not sustainable with him in there. That's it. And here's the thing, because I see Mike M said, seems like he's getting reps and is getting worse. I don't think that's true. I don't think he's getting worse. I think that he's not improving at the rate that we want him to improve, right? Because what happened was last year he had all these big plays, and I remember speaking about this going into the LSU game, going into the Ole Miss game, going into all these games, saying that the offense with DJ Lagway is either connecting on these deep shots or the run game, because DJ Lagway has no underneath game, and he still doesn't. And so I think that when you saw that last year, and I spoke about it last year, and people went, "Oh, shut up, you're hating on him." No, it's not. That's what he is, right? He doesn't know how to play football in a structure, and a lot of that comes down to when he was at Willis, they had a bad offensive line. And he was running around and scrambling and trying to do everything on himself, and then had to go make plays outside of structure. He doesn't know how to play inside of structure, and that's been the biggest thing with him. So he needs those reps in order to develop and in order to get better. He didn't play sustainable football last year, and I spoke about that ad nauseum, and a bunch of people got mad at me for saying it. But it's right? Like go back to it. Go back to me saying that he only has the deep ball, and that's it. And so it's either the run game is working and his deep ball is working, or the offense isn't working. He doesn't know how to throw underneath. He doesn't know how to take the easy completions that are there for him. He doesn't know how to go through his progressions and take that and attack that. He still doesn't, and he's not going to without reps. And look, some of the interceptions, because again, he threw 5, so there were a lot. Some were just, I forgot which safety it was that got the pick. But it was over the middle of the field that I think it was pick number 3, maybe 4. There's a lot. You lose track. That the safety just came up from the single high, just came down and took it. And Rob S. said, what easy completions? The ones that are there, like, look at the game. There's open receivers. There is. Like, you can't call this play calling anymore. Yeah, I think that there are absolutely some things wrong with play calling and game planning, but you can't say that it's the scheme not getting guys open. You can't say things like that. You watch the film and you know it's wrong. You're just saying things without knowing anything. It's like when people say, oh, the scheme is the issue. And it's like, no, it's not. You know how we know that? Because there's so many successful offenses that run this scheme just with a little bit of variance. But the bare bones, skeleton, still the same thing. That's like there's so many successful offenses that do it. And also, I want to talk about, and I spoke about this past week, where people went, oh, we ran hitches all game. That's just not true. Yeah, they ran spacing concepts. They did. Billy's always going to run spacing concepts, but they didn't run hitches all game. But when you talk about, because so many people go, oh, well, you got to spread things out, right? Like you got to spread out the defense. You got to put more receivers on the field and spread things out. And once you do that, then, the run game will be there and easy completions will be there and all these things will be there. And look what happened. You spread things out and they can't just blitz you, because then you're going to kill them. And what did I say this week? We watched DJ Lagway with a loaded box, even when they had 3-4 receivers out there last week. We watched him with a loaded box not be able to make these completions. And what did I say with Matt Moscona on Friday? Yesterday, I guess. If you are Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator at LSU, I'm going to disrespect DJ Lagway until he makes me respect him. I'm going to be as aggressive as physically possible. I'm going to be aggressive as humanly possible. And if I'm stacking the box and I'm blitzing the hell out of you and you're not making me pay for it, then I'm going to keep doing it. And that's what defenses are going to keep doing. They don't care how many receivers you put on the field. Look at this game. Look at how many times they had, even if it was, 3 receivers and a tight end, look at how many times they had the formation spaced out. I'd be willing to bet that this is one of the highest snap totals that Hayden Hansen has played lined up out wide. I'd be willing to bet that that's one of his highest, if not his highest, where he's played the most snaps out wide. Because that's what he did. And if you do that and they're still blitzing the hell out of you, and you're not adjusting, and your offensive line isn't adjusting the protection, and your quarterback's not adjusting the protection, and you're not leaving one guy off the edge unblocked, because that's also what you're supposed to do oftentimes, right? Is you leave one guy on the edge unblocked and you get the ball out quickly. That's how offenses often attack the blitz, to keep guys in order to run the offense without keeping extra blockers in. You leave the edge guy unblocked and you just get rid of the ball quickly. Okay? You're not doing any of that. Despite having 4 receiver sets, despite having 3 receivers, 1 tight end, and the tight end isn't attached to the formation, despite not going condensed like everybody has been complaining about for a long time, you still couldn't do anything. Again, like I don't think the play calling is good. The scheme itself, to say it doesn't work, is just you saying that you don't understand what scheme is. Okay, that's it. That's it. That's all that means. Okay. Well, that person is never speaking again here. That was crazy to say. Man, you tripping this entire offense is trash from the concept to the route tree. Stop blazing. Tell me how. Good. Tell me how. I'll wait for you to type it. Tell me how. Because I don't get how so many people talk about things like, oh, yeah, the scheme doesn't work. Why not? Explain it to me now. Because I'm tired of you just hearing things on Twitter saying it. Like, I don't think that the scheme is perfect. I don't think that the play calling is perfect. I don't think Billy executes the scheme perfectly. I don't think that they coach this perfectly. But to say the scheme doesn't work is you saying you don't know football. Because again, basically every successful spread offense has the same concepts, the same everything. They just do it better. That's it. That's all it is. It's really, really not that different. It's just there's slight variations and they are coached better. That's it. So I'll wait for you to explain how. So there we go. Because it's crazy that you say that. Like it just makes no sense. And stop saying you need John Gruden. He's a racist piece of trash that shouldn't be in charge of anybody. And he's also a very, very overrated coach. Won the Super Bowl his first year with Tampa with players that weren't the players that he built the team with. Come on, let's be real. Outside of that, he's a 500 coach. Again, I'm not saying play calling's good. I'm just saying the scheme isn't the issue. I do think play calling does have its plenty of issues. Scheme? No, not at all. Just you're inherently wrong there. Billy ran the ball once in the last 17 plays of the game. Well, I mean, yeah, but they were, trailing by 2 scores, fourth quarter. What did that say? What do you know? You've been nothing but wrong about this season. Have I been? Genuinely. Have I been? I think I was wrong about the overall success of the team. But the players that I speak about and what I talk about with the players, have I been? I was the one saying, hey, DJ Lagway needs more reps. I'm not comfortable with him sitting out in the spring and the summer. Nailed that one. All right. Like I think there's a lot going on that with this team that is just coached poorly. And because I do think that players aren't executing the way that they should. I do think that a lot of it comes down to coaches not properly coaching these guys. So yeah, that's what I'd like to say. Eli, I didn't see your response. Hold on. Where is it? We recruited for a spread offense as far as our skill positions, yet we play in a phone booth. The scheme doesn't match the personnel. I know football, my guy. That doesn't tell me what's wrong with the scheme. That doesn't tell me that the scheme can't work. That's not like that's what I'm saying. That's not what you're saying, though. If you think the scheme doesn't work, then that's my point. That people say the scheme doesn't work, and it's like, no, maybe you don't have the right personnel for it. Maybe you don't have, or maybe you've been recruiting for different things. But to say the scheme doesn't work doesn't make sense at all. That's my point. Like there's problems with things, absolutely. But to make a blanket statement like that is just nonsensical. We're going to talk more about this. We'll get to the chat more. We'll talk more about this atrocious, horrible, terrible, no good, very bad game when we get back with Locked On Gators. You can just move through life, or you can find the things that move you. It's your choice, really. You can choose to get out there. You can choose your people. You can choose to go for it. Like, really go for it. Just choose to do something that moves you. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. Mazda, move, and be moved. And with the weather cooling down, days are getting shorter, sun's setting a bit earlier, it's not as fun. That has me wanting to make the home feel even cozier. I've been very open. I moved recently, right? And when it comes to cozifying your space this fall, Wayfair is the place to go. Wayfair has everything you need to set the mood for the season, whether it's comfy recliners, warm bedding, autumn decor, or even an espresso machine that you can make your favorite latte at home. Cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates, from comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor. You'll find it all way less at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free, representing the podcast and on YouTube. Whole bunch of comments in there right now. Okay, whole bunch in there. Can we all agree that Billy and Scott have to go? I think this is seriously delusional thinking for anyone who continues to back Strickland and Napier. Strickland's not going anywhere. No other way to describe it. Like Scott Strickland's not going anywhere. He just got a contract extension, so he's not going anywhere at all. Like, just no other way to say it other than get over it. Like, it's just not happening. Eli, again, you're saying that our personnel isn't built for a spread offense. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the people that say this scheme can't work. You can say it can't work with these players. Go ahead. That's fine. I'm not disputing you on that. But to say the scheme itself doesn't work is the nonsensical thing that I'm talking about. Like that's what I'm saying. If like you can say scheme and personnel don't match, go ahead. Because I don't think you're entirely wrong in saying that. But to say that the scheme can't work, that's where people are wrong. Like, that's what I'm talking about. People go, oh, you can't condense set. You can't run condensed sets, wide zone, play action passing. You can't do what a ton of teams do, just at a better level. Lagway is also a weird runner, right? I don't get it. I'll say that. I don't get Lagway's running. Why you all keep saying bench Lagway? Yeah, I'm not saying that at all. But yeah, I don't get Lagway's running at all, because he does this thing, and he did this last year. We spoke about this last year too, where like he'll run upfield, and then instead of sliding, he'll either just like run into a defender, or he'll try to run sideways. And it's like, dude, like, you're not outrunning people there. Like, it just makes no sense. Yeah, stuff like that makes no sense. I mean, and look, like, I get it. DJ Lagway was last week. I said, oh, like, DJ Lagway played his worst game in college football. Now he's played his worst. And look, good for him. He will never play a football game that bad for as long as he lives. Because the interceptions, like, again, some of them were understandable, right? Some of the interceptions were him just being more aggressive than he should have been. It's the ones where he doesn't see defenders. Those are the inexcusable ones. That's it. So I think stuff like that is where we talk about the difference of the interceptions, because not all interceptions are created equal, right? Like if you throw a pick because you thought you can make a throw that was maybe just a bit too aggressive for you, that's fine. I don't get mad at those. If you're being aggressive and it's a play where I could at least look at it and I can go, all right, like I saw what you were doing. I get that. It just didn't work, and now you know not to do that, then that's fine. But like the last pick for DJ Lagway was awful. The last pick that he threw made no sense. If it were fourth down and he needed to make that throw, then go ahead. Like because he scrambled around and then just kind of chucked it. And so if it were fourth down, that's fine. It was 1st and 10. Like you had just gotten a first down. And so stuff like that just doesn't make sense. So that pick didn't make sense. The triple coverage in the back of the end zone pick didn't make sense at all. I think that was one of those picks where it's like, all right, well, I don't see the process on that one. I don't think the first pick was an awful decision. I think it was just a bad ball, which again, a thing that a lot of people are going to fault him for, rightfully so. But I don't think the first one was an awful decision. I think he just, like you got to layer it a little bit better than that. So that was incredibly frustrating. Again, the defense played well. Like this defense, I don't even want to say well. They played fantastic. Again, like you threw 5 picks. One of them was a pick 6. And then your defense held up. Like your defense gave up 13 points in a game where you gave them extra possessions consistently. Forced 5 3-and-outs. Like the defense balled. And it's really, really frustrating to see that if you had just an average offense, you're at worst 2-1 right now. But you've got an offense that isn't working at all. Like you've got an offense that just sucks right now. I don't know what's going on with protection, by the way. Like offensive linemen aren't necessarily getting beat. I don't think that they've been getting beat frequently at all. But there's just unblocked rushers coming in. And I don't know if it's a communication issue between Jake Slaughter and DJ Lagway, or if that's supposed to be Jake Slaughter's responsibility, which I do think that Jake Slaughter is more responsible for the defensive front, like looking at the defensive front and figuring things out. And then DJ Lagway makes a call because he's got a more backed up view so he could see more easy. And so I don't know if that's DJ Lagway that needs to make that call or Jake Slaughter or whatever it might be, but there were quite a few plays where, again, I don't know what happened with it. Like, I don't know who's at fault for this protection. Because, again, it's not guys usually just straight up losing reps. Guard play has been awful. No matter who the guard is, they're getting penalties and they're giving up pressures. But, yeah, I don't know who's more at fault. But something's got to get figured out there. Something's got to get figured out there on offense. Because I don't know exactly what is going on with protection. And we're not going to know if we're not in the room. But I do know there's a lot of people coming in just completely unblocked. And that stuff is incredibly frustrating. That stuff can't happen. Defense, again, I liked what they did for most of the game. And I think of stuff that the defense did that really screwed me up was that 3rd and 9, where it was 3rd and 9, and you dropped Jamari Lyons and Caleb Banks into hook zones, and you rushed on the edge. You rushed 4 on the edge, but you dropped them into hook zones, and it just made no sense. I don't think you could do that in a 3rd and 9. I understand dropping defensive linemen into coverage situationally, but when they're attacking you with slants as it is, dropping back guys who aren't comfortable in coverage and aren't nimble enough to go make the stop and make the play there, very odd. I didn't like that call at all. But Eli, again, I'm not saying it works I'm just saying that the scheme itself works. It might not work here. It might not work with this personnel, but to say that the scheme can't work is the nonsensical part. And look, like, again, I think that part of it's just, or not even part of it, most of it that I bring it down to is straight up coaching. I do. Like, I think that certain players haven't developed. I get DJ Lagway not developing. Because again, like, he hasn't practiced and he needs live reps in order to get better. So I get DJ Lagway not developing. Like, I understand it at least. But man, like, the offensive line should be better. In theory, it should be better. Like it should. So in theory, it should be better. Eli, it also works in teams that have won national championships in recent years. So, yeah, Simon, I'm not saying that, again, like I said, I could see why it doesn't work. Charles, I'm low key because I have recently moved and it's 5 a.m. where I live. So I'm not trying to wake everybody. So that's why I'm low key. But yeah, so I think that in theory, you could see some things. I don't know what happened with Trey Wilson tonight. It's wild. It's wild. The defense played fantastic, and it feels like it's just being wasted because you're not going to have this defense next year. Like, you're not going to have these guys next year. They're going to be a good deal of them are going to be in the NFL. It's brutal. It's brutal. This was the worst football game that DJ Lagway is probably ever going to play, even if he plays another freaking 20 years. Like, this is probably going to be the worst football game that he's ever going to play. I'm in England, Liquid Flame. I am in England, yes. So yeah, here for not full-time moved, but temporarily. And so yeah, this game is just brutal. It just stunk. Poor coach again. Like, you had a Jaden Baugh touchdown taken off the board because of a holding call. So many penalties, so many stupid decisions made. I can't stand it. Sometimes where could have gone for it, didn't go for it. I understand why some of it. What do I make of the penalties? That they're stupid and undisciplined. I think the Najee Harris one was a bit of a stretch, but I don't think that if I were an official, I would have called that. But I don't blame the officials for calling it. Like, I do think that it was like a slight hold. And so, yeah, let it fly. Go ahead. So the holding there brought it back. And this was kind of the bizarro game from last year. Because last year, like, Florida today dominated time of possession. Okay? Florida dominated time of possession. They had way more first downs. They had more passing yards. They had all these things, just like last year against LSU. Like, LSU did that, but LSU lost. And LSU lost because they dominated those areas, but they got sacked a ton. Florida, great in those areas, but they lost because they threw a ton of picks. And yes, like Juan Mena said, but not more points. That's it. And I'm not saying that, I don't think Florida dominated the game at all, obviously. Like, I'm not saying, oh yeah, Florida dominated, but they lost. I think their defense played great. Their offense stunk. Like, their offense, me and the most recent 10 commenters can probably get out there and not put up 10 points, but still not score much, right? Like not score, being given good position, being given great defensive play, just being given great defensive support and not being able to do a damn thing with it. It's awful. It was just awful. The offense sucked. Honestly, I want Billy Napier to give up play calling, not because I think the offense is absolutely awful, but because I think that the coaching staff is doing a bad job here. I think a lot of it comes down to Billy not getting guys to play disciplined football, Billy not getting guys to show up ready to play week in, week out. It's awful. And look, yeah, LSU's not a number 3 team, but you have blew it. But man, that would have been a great resume win, right? Would have been a great selling point for Billy to try to keep his job. Not that it's deserved. I will also say I don't think this is the game that gets Billy fired. Like I know people keep going, oh, if you lose to LSU, you're fired. Or people keep going, oh, if you lose this week, you're fired. If you lose this week, you're fired. That's not how it works, right? Not how it works. I think that they'll give him at least the Miami game. At least the Miami game. But even then, like if you show up and your defense plays fantastic, your offense doesn't score because your quarterback's throwing picks, I think that, if the conversation comes up with Scott Strickland, he'll go, well, look, DJ Lagway's stinking it up. I'm going to make a change. I think that's what it is. I do think Billy needs to give up play calling duties, but it's just brutal. I think he's got too much on his plate to be a good football coach right now. And yes, this game was more on DJ than anything else, but you got to have your guys ready to play. You got to have your guys playing disciplined football. It's honestly as simple as that. Awful. Again, one of the worst performances that we'll ever see. Maybe the worst performance I think we've ever seen from a quarterback in a Florida Gators uniform. At least for me, right? I'm 29, so at least in my life, pretty sure that's the worst performance I've ever seen from a Florida Gators quarterback. It's brutal. Got to go out there and look. Is there another win on the schedule, or are we FSU this year? There's more wins because this defense will get you games, right? Like this defense will get you games. DJ Lagway will have some decent games as well, right? Like this defense will get you games, or will win you games. DJ Lagway will have some performances where he doesn't absolutely suck. Again, some performances where he doesn't absolutely suck, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be clean, but I do think that this defense, again, is going to be good enough to get you some games. And I do think that this defense is going to be good enough to get you like Mississippi State is still a game you should win. Florida State, probably still a game you should win, depending on how they go long term. Kentucky, still a game you should win. Like there's still a game you should win. You're probably going to pop someone that many people don't think that you're going to pop. And yeah, so you'll probably see those. Before we wrap up, I will say a special shout out to someone that I was hoping I'd be able to talk trash to in this moment. But shout out Laura Jones for being here. Shout out Laura Jones for supporting the show. And look, like I said, DJ Lagway, not effective underneath. LSU exploited that as expected. Laura Jones, daughter of Larry Jones, by the way. So you know exactly who I'm speaking about there, just so you know. But yeah, this was brutal. This was a brutal game. My knee just popped loud as hell. This is a brutal game. And it's like I was hoping to talk trash and have some fun with it, but I mean, come on. Yeah, this just stunk. I was getting my phone blown up during every pick. I had Dylan Sanders, who covers LSU, texting me about it. So I was hoping that I would talk trash to Dylan Sanders. I was hoping I would talk trash to Laura Jones, and instead, nope. It's brutal. It's brutal. And again, like I see this defense and I go like, you're not going to make up college football playoff at this point. I think we got that. Yes. Big X the Squirrel said real quick, Cormani balled out today. He did. I'm glad that this is the week that I was like, hey, put Cormani in the starting lineup. I'm glad they gave Caden Jones a start at right tackle. I thought he played pretty well. But man, look, I think this defense is good enough to win you some games. I think that this offense I think that they'll rebound a bit, not to be great, but I think they'll rebound to give you more than 10 points in a game, 16 points in a game. But I mean, coaching needs to clean up. And by that, I do mean a lot of it is the discipline side. I don't think they're going to get better at all of a sudden. I don't think they're all of a sudden going to make better choices on 4th down or 2-point conversions, which I thought they should have gone for earlier. I don't think that they're going to make better choices there. I don't think they're going to improve in some areas like play calling. I do think that you can maybe become better in getting your guys more disciplined and more ready to go. And so, yeah, it's tough. I would not to get Mullen back. I don't care about Mullen. Is it fair to say that they were blitzing so much that we didn't have any answer for it? Yes and no. Again, I think that the reason teams are blitzing is because you don't trust DJ Lagway to make the right throw right away. I mean, we saw him get sacked against Long Island twice, both times because he ran into it. We saw him make some negative plays against USF because he's going to do that. We saw him hold the ball too long against LSU and get sacked. Like, wild thing to say about John Gruden is the accurate take, though. So feel how you feel about it, but I'm right there. And so, yeah, I think that defenses are going to blitz until DJ Lagway starts answering. Like, again, you can argue that they're blitzing so much because, you know, Florida's coming out in these condensed sets. They spread it out and they still got blitzed like crazy. And they still effectively got blitzed like crazy. Like they still got beat with that. So you can say it's because, you know, condensed sets. They spread it out. Like, the coaching staff made that adjustment of spreading things out. They still got blitzed like crazy, and they still were very ineffective against the blitz. Like, it comes down to, you know, DJ Lagway. They were throwing the screens. Perimeter blocking has to be better. When I wrote about yesterday on Swamp Signal, I wrote about, you know, some things that Florida can do to help improve the offense. The first thing I wrote was swing screens, which is what they did on the first drive, gained 17 yards in it. They did it quite a few times, but you got to run it to the boundary because you don't have guards that are going to be good in space. You got to run it to the boundary, and you can't just keep doing it. Like, after a while, you got to, you know, fake the swing screen and then throw a bomb, something. You have to work with some kind of misdirection that you're not working with. Stop trying all the misdirection pre-snap. You know, like, maybe try some of it post-snap. DJ Lagway added more pump fakes to his game plan. Kind of worked in the beginning, but after a while, it's like, okay, well, your pump fake looks kind of like not believable. And then you can't get going. I don't know. It's tough. Aiden Mizell needs to play more, by the way. I can tell you now, Wednesday, when we talk about the depth chart, he's going to be a name I'm throwing in there. Because I think he's got good chemistry with DJ Lagway. I think that Aiden Mizell cooks in certain situations. And so I think the option routes in this offense help him there. But we are going to wrap this up. This was supposed to be 20 minutes. We ended up going 40. So there is that. But thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever listen to the podcast and on YouTube. The Substack link for swampsignal.substack.com. That's the link. It's in the description below. And yeah, we will be back on Monday at the absolute latest to talk more Florida Gators football. If there's news tomorrow, and we'll cover it. But we'll be back on Monday at the absolute latest to talk about this team and this, oh man, just brutal performance by the Florida Gators, and mostly DJ Lagway, if we're being honest. Like, I hate seeming like I'm just blaming the kid, but you're going to throw 5 picks, I'm going to blame you. I am Brandon Olsen. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube, and I'll see you all next time.